Hello, everybody joining us today for the webinar. We're going to give everyone a couple minutes to get logged in here. Feel free to introduce yourself in the chat. Let us know where you're tuning in from and maybe what's your interest in attending Go International, or if you have any questions coming into this webinar regarding marketing collateral, we'll be happy to answer those at the end. But if you have something to start us out with, that's great too. Again, we'll give folks a couple minutes to get joined in here. And if you are joined, feel free to invite any of your colleagues to the webinar. And Sherry Bowman, if you maybe just want to keep tabs on the Zoom invitations, folks sometimes do see that the event is going on and try to register during the event. So if we can just make sure we approve those registrations, that would be great. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get us rolling a bit here. Tatsmewi, good morning in my language. Inamunitwa sa Pocus Weekdas, Kasayapo Timki Sierra Green, Ka Inwas Nimipu Kasayapo. My name is Sierra Green. I am Nimipu or Nez Perce. I reside up in my own homelands in north central Idaho. And for IENTA, I am the Education and Business Development Director. And it's great to be here today on this webinar, joining all of you. And today we'll be talking about the Go International preview. So for those of you who aren't familiar with Go International, we'll dig into what that event is all about. And then we also have a featured speaker today, Stacia Morphine, who will go over creating your marketing collateral. So two really important things in preparing yourself for the international marketplace. So a little bit about IENTA. Most of you may be familiar with IENTA, but for those of you who are new to our organization, for more than 25 years, the American Indian Alaska Native Tourism Association has served as the only national organization dedicated to advancing cultural heritage tourism in Native nations and communities. Established by tribes and for tribes, the indigenous communities that we serve within our nation. IENTA is a 501c3 national nonprofit, and we serve as the united voice for the $15.7 billion Native hospitality sector. So all of you here today can definitely tout that, your contribution to that hospitality sector and that amazing number that we contribute to the economy. Our mission at IENTA is to define, introduce, grow, and sustain American Indian, Alaska Native, and Native Hawaiian tourism that honors traditions and values. And everybody who has worked with me in the past knows that's my favorite part of our mission, honoring our traditions and values. And so as we dive into what Go International means, I will just say from a personal standpoint and interacting with our industry partners in the international realm, they are very interested in our cultures, in our homelands, our day-to-day modern lifestyles, as well as understanding our history of the past and pre-contact. So again, honoring traditions and values is my favorite part of our mission at IENTA. Excuse me, I do have a little bit of a cough still, so hopefully I can hold it together while I get through our webinar this morning. So for those of you who are in attendance, pop into the chat, yes or no, if you have attended Go International in the past. Go International is a 2-day training workshop, and it really allows us to equip our Indigenous tourism professionals, businesses, and communities with the knowledge, strategies, and resources needed to succeed in the global tourism marketplace. We have tourism leaders, industry experts, other Indigenous entrepreneurs that are helping us communicate how to get practical insights into the industry. The international industry is such a ecosystem of itself. We network with our key partners to allow you time with them one-on-one or at your tables or just in this more intimate setting to communicate um, how we can elevate your businesses in the international markets. So we do have our dates set for April 29th and 30th in Albuquerque, New Mexico, where it's been held for the last several years. We are in our ninth Go International. And so over the years, there's folks who have attended multiple times. Maybe when they first came, they were actually just a startup business and didn't realize, like, wow, to be international ready, there's a lot that goes into it. Other times, there's folks who've been in the international marketplace and they come and they want to understand what's changed and evolved, especially post COVID, regarding the international marketplace. How can I grow my business in the international marketplace? How can I start to focus on new markets? So maybe you've had a really great Asian market visitation, but now you want to expand that and you really want to focus on the European market, or maybe you want to focus on the South American market. So that's really what Go International helps prepare you to do, is identify what's going to be your best markets, who is your audience, and what kind of folks are attending um, your experiences and visiting your destinations, and how do you actually start to work with in the international marketplace. What are receptive tour operators? What are online travel agents? All these different things, terms. It's a whole other language, basically, once we start getting into the global marketplace. And that's really what we dive into at Go International. Get into the weeds, make sure that you understand this complex ecosystem without being overwhelmed, and giving you really a path forward step by step on how to be successful. So why would you attend Go International? First, first and foremost, you need to assess your market readiness. Evaluating your business's preparedness for international visitors really is the starting point. We will go through different checklists so you can identify where your business is at in market readiness. And if you're not quite international ready, or what we say export ready, what steps can you take to get there? And so that's really the best starting point, is identifying and reflecting on where your business is and coming up with a plan on how to get to where you want to go. Another topic is developing and packaging your experiences. So I had a conversation earlier this morning. It's beautiful if we have an amazing experience or an amazing tour in rural, for us, Idaho, where I'm at now. But we absolutely have to engage others in making sure that there's accommodations, places to stay, places to eat, and other things to do. So how can we create those? And we'll dig into some of that during Go International with some of our amazing speakers who have that experience, firsthand experience as Indigenous destinations and working with others in their areas. That leads into the next point of building key partnerships, how to connect with DMOs, tour operators, and industry experts, and even DMOs. Maybe you don't know what that means. I guarantee you that means you need to come to Go International. So DMOs are the destination marketing organizations or management organizations, and typically like Visit Palm Springs or Visit Idaho, um, Explore Minnesota. Those are all DMOs for states or regions or areas, cities as well. So how can you work in building those key partnerships to ensure that your visitors are getting a robust experience when they come to your destination? Increased visibility. How can you leverage your marketing? What are FAM tours and trade shows? How to really amplify your visibility at those. And that in turn expands your visibility within the marketplace. And I'll talk a little bit towards the end on some of the things that we at IANTA are doing to ensure that our members, as part of your membership benefits, are having increased visibility in the global marketplace. Of course, storytelling is something that's integral to our cultures, but to enhance your storytelling, to share Indigenous stories while also respecting your cultural protocols of your community, we know sometimes that is a complex dynamic that we have to navigate in sharing our stories. But that's something that we'll talk about at Go International. And really, what is it that the global visitors want to know about us? So we'll dig into that as well. And lastly, we'll hit on some of our IENTA resources. our expert tools that we have developed, and training that we do both at trade shows, but on things like the webinar and Go International, of course, in itself, along with our publications that we have to pull you in and keep you informed of opportunities to move your business forward. So here's the outline of our session titles. Identifying your market readiness. So again, we'll be looking at two different models of identifying your market readiness. One of them is an IENTA assessment tool. The other is actually a tool out of the Indigenous Tourism Association of Canada. And the key takeaways of that session is to assess your global market readiness, prioritize your business improvements, and develop an action plan for international success. So for those of you who have attended Go International in the past, it was very lecture style, and we provide you with a lot of information. This year, we're making it more workshop style, and we want you to have key takeaways and action items that when you leave after 2 days of intensive training and workshopping, you'll have something that you can take back to your business and have a plan of how am I going to implement this. So the next session, designing visitor experiences, tailoring itineraries and packages for international appeal. With this one, some of the key takeaways, we want you to define your traveler profiles, craft and envision an engaging itinerary. What does that a day look like in your community for an international visitor? Again, where are they going to stay? What are they going to eat? What else are they going to do? And then how can you create an effective travel package? And so maybe you're rural. Where are international folks starting point going to be? How are they going to get to you? And where are they going to go afterwards? So it's really important to consider, and we'll dig in deep with our second session. The third session here, building successful partnerships, DMOs, and intertribal collaborations in tourism. Some of the key takeaways with that, we want you to establish strong partnerships, learn from case studies that we'll present, and then integrate the cultural integrity into those collaborations. We know how important that is in working within our communities, those cultural values, that integrity, that authentic collaboration and partnership, and we'll dig into some of those details in that presentation there. Elevating your product, proven tactics for gaining industry visibility, enhanced digital visibility, leveraging FAM tours for exposure. So we'll kind of dig into some of that today in the webinar once we have our speaker join us. And so I'll not dig too much into that, but really elevating your product with digital assets. Okay, so on the second day, that leads in. So this is all very progressive. So again, starting with identifying your market readiness. What is it that folks are going to do when they come to you? Who else do you need to be working with to make this happen? How can you get the visibility? And then we get into the day 2, and from media kits to social media. Now that you have your groundwork and your foundation, how do you get the message out there for folks to come visit you? Building global connections. So now that you are getting your voice out there, how can you leverage industry partnerships for international success? So I'm really excited that IENTA has been working hard to build some amazing partnerships with the Inbound International Travel Association, the National Tourism Association, Brand USA, and several others within the industry on how can we help you reach the tour operators that will bring guests to your community. The next session here, respectful representation, telling Indigenous stories internationally. So we go through several sessions of business building and action plans, but before we all depart, I want us to all come back together and remember, why do we do this? We're doing this from my perspective, again, honoring traditions and values and culture. We do this to represent our communities, to share our story, to have our narrative be heard, and for the world to understand who we are as a people, as Indigenous nations, and how to respect our homelands, how to see a little bit from our perspective as Indigenous people. So we'll wrap up with that really powerful session before we dig into some of the IENTA resources and wrap up and hearing from all of you and what is it that IENTA can do to help you be successful in the international market. So I just described the 8 sessions that we'll have at Go International. And again, they're going to be interactive, in depth. You'll have action items that you can take home at the end of the workshop. It'll be very informal. So we want you to ask questions. We want you to engage with the speakers to really hone in on their expertise to say, here's my issue that I'm having. How can I address it? And what I love about Go International is because it is a smaller and intimate setting, you get to visit with the other folks at your table and discuss, challenges, successes, what have they seen in their communities regarding international visitors? What are things to be cautious of? What are things to really amplify? It's really a beautiful community that Go International is able to build because we can visit with each other and really talk about some of those things in a more intimate setting. Okay, so that's why you should attend Go International. Of course, we do have sponsorship opportunities available for Go International. We have breakfast and lunch sponsors, premier sponsorship available, and then supporting sponsors. And I do just want to thank the Albuquerque Hispano Chamber of Commerce for their sponsorship, as well as Isleta Resort and Casino. So if you're interested in sponsoring the 9th annual Go International, you'll have the opportunity to promote your organization throughout the event. You'll also be featured on our ianta.org website and all of our social media platforms leading up to and throughout the event. And you'll be allowed to provide brochures or any information in our conference folders, along with signage throughout the conference venue. So it's a great opportunity to show that you support IANTA and you support other businesses in going international. And so if you are international already, this is something that we've seen a lot of our members and partners do in the past, is really take that opportunity to say, yes, we're international. We have international market and visitors, and we want to see we want to see other Indigenous companies as well joining us in the international marketplace. So if you think your company is interested in providing a sponsorship opportunity for Go International, Sherry Bowman would love to hear from you, and we'll pop her email in the chat. You can also find information on our website, excuse me, which I'll pop in the chat here in a moment. So, Stacia, if we can have you on standby, I just wanted to take that time to really go over what to expect at Go International. But moving forward, the highlight of this webinar is really to provide you some insights into the types of training that you'll see at Go International. And this is something that we did previously present at Go International. I'm not sure if it was last year or the year before, but really the marketing collateral that is so important into ensuring that your company is legitimate in the perspective of the consumer. And so having Stacia will lead us through a whole slew of really important things that are important to ensuring that your company is suitable, is being visible, and being seen as a quality company to work with in the international marketplace. Stacia Morphine, or Kusnim Kusnawat, is the owner and operator of Nez Perce Tourism LLC, a Native woman business located in the Pacific Northwest. She is a proud citizen of Nimipu Nation. She is Nez Perce as well. She has a bachelor's degree in business administration and an associate's degree in hospitality management from Lewis Clark State College. Her business, Nez Perce Tourism, provides a warm welcome to Nimipu country, where guests will experience a true sense of place with Nimipu, the people. Radiating with cultural wisdom, Nez Perce Tourism is the only place in the world where you will hear our side of history, witness the stories of our ancestors, and receive legendary hospitality founded in our cultural understanding of honor and respect. Stacia also opened Traditions Gift Shop, is 8A certified for government contracting, and has secured contracts with the American Cruise Lines, Rocky Mountain Holiday Tours, and strong working relationships with the U.S. Forest Service, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, local institutions, and she also amazingly and unimaginably serves as the Nez Perce Tribe's small business community navigator. Stacia Morphine is one of my favorite humans in the world. She's also my older sister. And so without further ado, I want to introduce Stacia to help us crack the code on creating your marketing collateral. Stacia, take it away.
And Tatsmewi, good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. We are so excited to get you ready for not only Go International, gear up for that, definitely. I believe I'm a four-time attendee to Go International, and that has been such a wonderful occasion to be able to learn, grow, really leave with something tangible from the conference that I can go back to my homelands, refine, adjust, and really have something special that's, again, like I said, usable throughout something I've learned from that conference. It is something that is extremely hands-on, very close knit as far as really being able to engage with others who maybe in the specific industry or other tourism businesses that are nowhere near you that actually understand what you're talking about, right? It seems like a lot of times in our industry, when we're able to connect with the people that understand, okay, this is what tourism is about. We know the obstacles, we know the awards, we've seen them, we felt them. Because I sometimes feel like in our industry, you really have to kind of be careful of kind of who you talk to or really being able to connect with somebody on that level that truly understands what we're doing here. It's very, very important the work that we do. When we look at the industry and understand the cultural identity, the land reclamation, the education that happens within this realm of what we do in tourism, I mean, that is very, very powerful. So to be able to reconnect and to be able to really look into that deeply with another that understands that is so important to me. And that is one thing that I really do love about Go West, Go International, excuse me. So with that, I'm going to provide a proper introduction in my language. Tatsmewi inam latiwamas. Good morning, my friends. In Winnikissa, Kusnam Kasnuat. My name is one who takes care of water. Sierra said, I'm a very proud member of our nation, the Namipu or the Nez Perce Nation. And it is to my understanding that you are all involved or going to be involved very soon in the tourism industry, which again is my favorite industry to be involved in. Being able to give back to our community in ways of not only economy, but also by way of the preservation of our culture, language, traditions, all of those things, to be able to be in this light, to be able to be in this industry, to be able to be in these positions are extremely important. And as continual cultural bearers or message carriers or knowledge keepers, being able to access those within our community who are extremely well versed in those specific areas and being able to live this way of life and to respectfully share these ways from a very, very, you know, non solicited point of view. I mean, what we're doing in cultural tourism, as all of you know who are on with us today, there's a very fine line that we walk when we're in this industry. It takes a lot of responsibility. It takes a lot of really, really knowing yourself and who you are and knowing your community, what is secret versus sacred, what is commonly known versus widely shared, and all of those great things that tie into what we're doing really makes us the unique destinations or the attractions or the recreational activities that we offer is so important. So what we're going to talk about today is something that is extremely important that all of us are probably already doing. If not, we're gearing up to do very, very, very well. So I don't know how many of us on, if somebody wants to share in the chat with us of who you are, where you're located, also what type of service you offer, and maybe how long you've been offering that service or that product or that specific tour product. That would be great. What I would kind of like to gauge is to see where people are at in their marketing assets, the gathering of those, and then also kind of see, where you're at. Do you have a website? Do you have one sheets? Do you have brochures? Do you have WhatsApp? Do you work with international tour operators? Are you ready to be tour operator? Are you ready to be able to go and to handle the international audiences? So I think with this little bit of information information we're able to gather through the chat, I can really kind of help answer some of those questions as well. So just to give you a little bit of a background, Nez Perce Tourism, we're actually located here in Lewiston, Idaho. It is off of what is known as the Nez Perce Reservation, and I think that is very, very important to us as we reclaim our homelands through tourism. We can really allow people to see, oh, okay, well, I thought your homelands, were just confined to that reservation boundary. When this is not the case, we're actually reclaiming tours off of the reservation out into parts of our homelands in multiple states. The Namipu Nez Perce, our homelands are very vast, including Idaho, Washington, Oregon, Montana, Yep, Idaho, Washington, Oregon, Montana, and Wyoming. So throughout our 5 original states and more, our reservation is just located now on Idaho. So what we're doing is we're actually decolonizing that area in which we originally inhabited, and we're letting people know that we still have connections to these places, and they're strong connections. So for example, again, we are located in Lewiston, offering tours in Washington, Oregon, all over our 5 states, and so that's extremely important. But again, being able to create your marketing collateral, and Sierra and Sherry, feel free to come in and chime in at any time. At any time, please do. But this is extremely important because first you have to understand who your audience is. And being able to understand who your audience is extremely important. For me, for example, I'll just give out a few case study examples, right? So we offer jet boat tours into Sakama, into Hell's Canyon. And being able to use that original language, to use that original place name is very, very important to our people, right? Very important to be able to use that language to reach and reconnect with our ancestors above. They love hearing our language. So to be able to utilize and call out those place names or those legend sites is very important. But Hell's Canyon is the deepest river gorge in North America. It's deeper than the Grand Canyon. So what we do is we offer jet boat tours into Hell's Canyon, sharing a completely different narrative that has been shared for over 75 years, in which folks have been operating jet boat tours in this region. So we should get to share with them our village sites, our place names, our legends, our stories, our connections to the animals, and I can get into some pictures of that later on to showcase exactly what it is I'm talking about. But understanding your audiences is when we have, say we have 5 different audiences that we're serving in a week, right? One of the audiences might be a local institution, which means by local institution, perhaps it could be a college, you're right, a regional college, a state or a local or a tribal college, right? That will be one of our industries. The others might be a local group tour of class of 85. Say class of 85 wants to come and do a group tour, or say we have an international group, or say we have a group that comes from a nonprofit agency. So those are kind of different levels of our audiences. So when we talk about our content or our marketing collateral to the tribal college, right, through the local tribal college versus through the non-tribal state college, our audiences is going to be a lot different, right? If they're a group of Nimipu or tribal people, our audience and the way that we deliver, the way that we talk, the way that we get to go a little bit deeper in our information that we share, even in the sharing of our marketing assets to be able to really connect with that tribal group, that's going to be a lot different from us kind of looking at an institutional lens of being able to work with this group of non-tribal people. So I think that is always very, very important to be able to understand what that looks like, especially working with your international audiences, your international guests. Well, I absolutely love about our guests, and please feel free to raise your hand or to say, yes, I agree, or leave it in the chat. If you're working with international audiences and operators currently, you will absolutely see the difference in the quality of the guest and the level of respect that you get when you work with your international people. And that's what I love about working with them so much. When you look at your local and regional folk and the level of understanding that they have about Native American way or respect for tribal people, It's a whole different level of respect that you get with our international guests versus what we get, unfortunately, with our local regional folks. Sometimes I feel and I've learned that the closer you get to reservation or native communities, the more disengaged or the more uninformed or biased that are unfortunately formed. It really does have a little bit of a new aspect, and so that's why I think it is so important to not only reach our local, regional, domestic folks, to be able to increase that awareness, to be able to increase that education, to be able to build those bridges is so important, as well as reaching our international audiences who I absolutely love. They're extremely respectful and always are interested in learning about new ways. Another thing about our international guests is that, they have a lot of them are looking for authentic new experiences. They've already came to the United States once a year and have already done, the LA, the New York, the Disneyland, the Big Five, the national parks. They've already kind of done a lot of that. So they're really looking for something different and authentic and new. And we are the only ones within our tribal homelands and areas that are able to offer this very unique product, as we all have our own languages, we all have our own values and traditions, and even regalia, as we look at the photograph in the photo there. We all have our different colorings of beads and dances and the meanings and the songs. So that's really, really important for us as Native services and tours, that we can offer a very different market. So really understanding your audience is extremely important as we look into continuing your marketing collateral.
Yeah, and with that, I think we'll go through each of these points a little more in depth. The importance of the high quality, authentic content. In this last month, I've heard people say we want authentic, not like Disneyland type of experiences. We want to really meet the people. So we'll dig into a little bit of that here in a couple more slides. And Stacia hit on some of these as well, in enhancing that visibility for the international buyers, how to make a lasting impression. Interactive visuals and storytelling is key. Clear and compelling messaging, we'll hit on that as we go through the one sheet that Stacia has developed. And then research and identify major airports, landmarks, locations. These are all things that, again, at the end, will provide you with a checklist to make sure that you have all of this involved and installed in your marketing collateral. And of course, the call to action is super important. Get those bookings. And then how are you measuring and optimizing your outreach and your marketing collateral? So let's dig into a little bit of this. Some of the different audiences or categories of international buyers that you want to be thinking about is there's a lot of different intermediaries. So I kind of mentioned that a little bit, but there's different companies that either package, maybe you're just one business with one tour, but they package a whole destination. Or there's others who buy those packages from people and they actually distribute them to the consumer directly, and or they resell that travel products to the consumer in different ways. So there's tour operators, travel agencies, wholesalers, online travel agencies, and then there's these niche travel specialists, which actually are some of my favorite because I think they really understand who we are as Indigenous people, and they really are able to communicate that to their consumers as well. Um, so thinking about what is a tour operator, the international tour group led by a local guide. So we've had this discussion with the industry quite a bit. Is Stacia a tour operator? She operates tours at a location, a destination, but also there's tour operators in Italy, and that's also what they're called, but they're more in our language, be serving as a travel agent where they're packaging these different services. So there is a discussion ongoing, and it's probably been ongoing for several years, on changing or everybody getting on the same page about what is and who is a tour operator. In our sense, we are the suppliers, and then the tour operators are who we're trying to sell our product to. We want tour operators to sell our product because instead of you individually having to go to Italy and Germany and France and China and Japan and India and making those relationships one on one, Now instead, you can work with a tour operator who packages these, who has direct contact to those consumers because they're in those places. So really trying to understand this ecosystem again of who is what and who do you need to work with is really important in starting to understand your audience and what kind of marketing collateral you need to develop. So we'll dig a little bit more into all of these terms and who these players are in the industry at Go International. And you can also, I'll share some resources at the end that we can check out there.
Sounds good. So when we look at the importance of understanding your audiences and being able to create, visual appeal through a storytelling element, I think that's what's really beautiful about us Native peoples is that the by way in which we are able to share who we are, where we come from, even in our introduction, the way in which we speak, how we learn, how we grow is through storytelling. And there's definitely some content preparation and some key elements that you can utilize by looking at the storytelling lens. I absolutely love that. And that's kind of some things that I've learned throughout my journey within tourism is really going back into those stories that you've learned in your sweat house or as you travel throughout your landscape on your next hunting spot or heading to your next fishing spot is there's so many different things that are brought out through those trips, right? And as we parallel our own experiences and the way which we grow up or some of the things we've learned throughout visiting with elders, we can also address those with our guests to be able to really have them be able to remember this trip or this journey or this experience by using this great whether digital storytelling format or verbal storytelling format while you get them in front of you visiting your experiences. But of course, high quality visuals is very, very important. Not only photos, videos, short clips, reels, whatever it is that you can do to be able to create or gather content. So it really showcases, your experience while you're also respecting your cultural sensitivities. We understand that there are many things within our own nations, within our own cultures and tribes that we definitely want to be extremely respectful of. And I think that we're all at this point here where we've identified what that looks like and what those things are that we'll go ahead and keep, hit aside for our own people to be able to experience. But definitely photos and videos are king. They are the top level item that you absolutely must be able to have access to when it comes to creating your content. The other is the visitor perspective. What international travelers expect to see. So this is something that we've got to be able to understand, or we have also got to be able to lead that discussion for what it is appropriate for them to see, right? Also, diversity in content. We definitely want to show people interaction. We want to show the land so they can kind of see what to expect. And we also want to see products and activities, right? Whether it's recreation or on a river or through a hike or an interactive activity that they can specifically visualize themselves in at that moment in which they see this one sheet or this post on social media or this image or short video on your website. They want to be able to visualize themselves inside the people, landscapes, and activities. So diversity in your content is extremely important. When we look at multilingual accessibility, of course, translating websites, brochures, and tours, I think it's very important for us to have all of our digital assets, for example, our website, most importantly, being able to be translated. And there's some great apps that we can use depending on who your website handler is that will be able to kind of just really key in that element. I believe Nespers Tourism, our websites, maybe in maybe 13 different languages now. So if you need to that button or need to look and see what we've used on that, let us know. We'd love to be able to send you that information. QR codes are really good for hard copy brochures, anything that you can kind of pass out your one sheets, anything of that nature. It's really good to have a QR code for that call to action of what's next, where do I go, how do I book, how do I learn more, how do I contact you for follow-up and things of that nature. This next slide is a really good at a glance of what a one sheet is. And this would be something that I would bring to Go International. This would be something that I would go to for my receptive meetings, for my one-on-one dating presentations that I have with potential buyers. This is a very important sheet that I'll bring, but I also have this located in our gift shop. So when people come in and ask our staff, what is there to do in this area? I've learned so much about these pair of earrings just now. I really want to learn more about your culture, about your people. So we typically give this one sheet out to people to give them a at a glance experience of opportunity to learn about what we all have available. That's what it's important about a one sheet. Of course, having the high quality imagery, this is why it's so important, but also making sure that your product and service is ready to go, that you have specific bolded headlines of what it is you want people to know about you, right? So the very first topic that I have on the top of my front of my sheet is a call to action. That call to action is visit Namipu. That means come and see us, come experience us, come and be a part of who we are, right? Then you get into our next to token now it. To token now it means live it. This is what we do internally. It says with your right hand, tap your heart twice. That really showcases and gives you that authentic appeal for who we are. We want you to know that this is what we do. We want to invite you in. We want you to be a part of us while you're visiting here. We want you to experience it with all of your heart and all of your might. And we want you to be transformed from the most authentic way that you possibly can, right? Again, visit Namipu. Come see us. We're here. This is what we've been doing for over 200 years. We've been doing these type of visits with different people such as the Lewis and Clark expedition and so forth. So being involved in hospitality and tourism guiding is something that Namipu have always been a part of. So with this action, it's not something new to our people. This is something that we've always been doing. And so bringing out these new products and services is actually a very old way of our people. So I just want you to know that that is an example of a call to action, is to make it an actionable statement that really says, what's next? What do you want me to do? That's a call to action. Where do I go? How do I book? Visit Namipu. That's what that means.
Yeah, and just to add a couple other things that we had on that previous slide of what's really important to ensure on your one sheet. So again, you can see the high quality images, and maybe I mean the one sheet is very high quality. These are screen grabs, so it's not as high quality, but these images I guarantee are very high quality, and it showcases again that diversity of what you'll experience. You will get to traverse our rivers. You will see petroglyphs. Typically, there are our animal relatives waiting there for us to come say Tatsmewi or Tatsalak to them and say good day and welcome them, and then for us really to welcome us as visitors to their canyon, to their home, and bring folks along. So when people see that, and if you're from an international country and you're like, wow, I can see petroglyphs, I can go on this river, I can see these animals, that is something that where else are they seeing that in marketing? So really amplifying what it is that you are providing that's unique in high quality images. And then again, bringing in your cultural language. So to Tokenawa, live it. That's really powerful to have that language on there. And visit Namipu. Nez Perce, yes, people know, but we are working to reclaim that and say Namipu. And that's one of the first things that the tour guides do in introducing themselves and welcoming guests. So again, on the one sheet, you can see it pictured here on the side, and we'll just go through different sections of it and talk about what's important to include.
Great. Again, looking at kind of the headlines of what we want to accomplish, we really want people's eyes to gaze. As sometimes, say in the one-on-one time we have with people, we typically don't have a lot of time. You really have to be able to create this kind of this sense of desire to be able to say you want to get to know me when you talk to your potential guests or your tour operators. You really want to be able to create something authentic, to really showcase and at a glance something that they're they're going to want to come back to again, right? So the tour operators or the guests that you're meeting with, they usually typically use this tool, bring it back to their gaze when they get a chance to really look at something. So we want to make sure that they understand what they're looking at, and that is really getting into the Nest Purse journey, right? We want to really briefly explain what that offers as a value to our guests or to our tour operators or to our potential buyers. What is it that they'll be able to receive through this experience? Also customizing your itinerary. So this really just kind of shows you every single activity, option, product, or service that you offer, from horseback riding to Lewis and Clark Among the Nest Purse perspectives. We've got, of course, the jet boat tours, shuttle services, necklace making workshops, kind of really what you can do as far as customizing your itinerary. Kind of list those out for all of the products and services that you offer to make sure that that's all listed there somewhere. Of course, we're going to put our Sakuma Hells Canyon jet boat tour. Our #1 tour is going to be listed on there. Or even better for you, on the screen, what is it that you would like to sell more of this year? What is it that you yield the highest value in when it comes to being able to generate the most money per tour, right? So say, for example, it costs you $500 to be able to rent the room. You have to be able to buy food and all of these things, this cultural experience that you offer. You make maybe $45 off of each tour, right? Versus this other tour where you have a land service and you're driving people through the homelands, and it's a very, very great service. Perhaps you make $190 per person off of that tour, right? Net value. So maybe you really want to focus on the specific service that you really want to be able to promote for that year or for that season. You want to make sure you put that as a really great accessible, or continue to push that tour, because you really want to yield those allocations that come through the product buys. Or maybe it's a new product you really want to be able to test and see, okay, I think this is going to be our #1. This is what we want to focus on. So being able to have yourself in your mind, and then as you look at what this one sheet looks like, you can always edit it as you go. You can always sample it and see, okay, did that flow okay, as you start to do your testing and your presentations throughout, really getting to know your product and your one sheets. So this, again, it really talks about what we want to showcase: the interaction, the horses, the dancing, the singing, the elders, the intergenerational learning that you can see in that middle picture there. Our elders, our young people, are so important to us. And also really showcasing some of your awards that you've gotten, or some of your certifications, or some of the great milestones you've been able to meet. For us, when we heard that we received the Best Cultural Heritage Experience from Mayanta in 2021, that was a game changer for us. That absolutely gave us this level of credibility for us within our native community, to say, oh my goodness, this is we're in it. Okay, we've kind of made that milestone, right? We're really being able to elevate ourselves, throughout our indigenous communities. And for me, that's the most important thing. I love serving our non-tribal guests. I love being able to serve our international guests. They're amazing. But what we get to do internally within our own people, within our own nations, within our young, old, the identity, the reconnection pieces, being able to be honored by Ayanta was very important to us. So again, this just showcases the importance of the high quality and interactive visuals that you have available. And then again, this just kind of goes through a really quick breakdown. For this one, I selected 6 of our top offerings, and I made sure there was a variety of them, just to give a little bit of a short detail on exactly what that consists of. Namipu whitewater rafting, dinner with the Nest Purse, Namipu van rental service, Appaloosa horseback riding, traditional arts workshops, Nimipu gifts. So look at this. I really showcase, when I look at my audiences, Nimipu whitewater rafting. Who is going to be able to do that? Know your market, know your audiences. So when I look at some more of my, I call them seasonal travelers, or our elder travelers, which have a very high income and are usually looking to do something for multiple days, but really less active. Their activity level is going to be pretty low as far as getting able to get on and off that whitewater rafting float, right? Probably not going to be horseback riding as well. So we want to make sure that we also have a really good at a glance, kind of a snapshot of what's available for all of our guests to be able to experience. For this specific audience, I believe a dinner with a Nest Purse would be amazing. That they understand that there's van shuttle services available for us, that we can take them to the petroglyphs via a land tour, that we can take them out to the Nez Perce National Historical Park Museum, where they get to experience firsthand from a Nez Perce guide the values and traditions and explanations of the material culture that is on display through our lens, right? A traditional arts workshop, maybe it's a sit and paint with the Nez Perce artist. So we're really able to showcase again at a glance, depending on who that audience might be, but then to really also show the diversity and what is available to us. Another key ingredient to this one sheet or to any of your sources that you offer is ensuring that you understand from an external point of view or a international point of view is traveling here. Where are you located? I know that I'm located in Lewiston, Idaho. I know that I am 2 hours south from Spokane Regional International Airport. I have an airport here, which is regional, but kind of for my local regional lens, I did not understand the importance of understanding also the whole entire Pacific Northwest and really looking at the international airport. Where are they located? How can people access us, right? So if you look over, you can see that I have not only Seattle, that's an international airport. We've got Portland, we've got Sacramento, every single airport around us, and probably a 20-hour radius drive time through multiple states. If we have people that are coming internationally, I can guarantee you they're staying here for at least 7 to 10 days, and that's a minimum, right? So as people come here, they're typically doing the drive flies. Perhaps they're going to go ahead and fly into Salt Lake, which a lot of them do. They're going to make a loop up over into Glacier, Yellowstone, up into the Lewiston area and head over to Seattle. So we have got to, in our introductions and also through our one sheets, physically show people, maybe with a highlighter, where we're located and all of those great kind of trade or I call them trade routes, right? Where those routes are coming and they're going from, as our people have access since time immemorial. But being able to really showcase on a map where we're going so we can add our product to that stop or to that service, or working with our international operators to show them where we're located. Again, customizing your tour or giving that QR code, that call to action. This is where to find us. Email me. I'll follow up with you before you do, hopefully, but here's more information about our website, which is translated for your benefit later on down the road when we depart from here. It's a very great thing to have on your websites. Again, this is an at a glance of both the front and the back. Honestly, depending on where I'm heading and where I'm showing this one sheet at, I have it 3-hole punched because a lot of people, when it comes to operators, they'll have their information kind of tucked everywhere. I say, okay, go ahead and snap that right in your 3-ring binder. Even maybe put a nice little note on it, or take a picture with them and WhatsApp them or send them to them later and say, this is who the Nest Purse service was. I'll either have my card in my hands or this one sheet that they'll also have in their brochure. I want them to be able to remember me. I want them to be able to look back at that picture and say, aha, she's already followed up with me by sending via picture, either email or WhatsApp or any of the international apps that they use. But being able to really use this tool to be able to promote yourselves in ways is going to be an amazing jump into getting into the international markets.
Yeah, great. And I know presenting this one sheet takes practice. It takes time to perfect your messaging and to really, again, there are some best practices. So making sure you have an engaging and compelling story that you're sharing with folks. This is something, again, Stacia reiterated that this is something that only we can offer to the world, is our culture, is our stories of our homelands, is the different perspectives that we have and stories that are ancient across our landscape. So really promoting that cultural aspect. If you're an adventure tour, how are you tying in that cultural story to what it is that you're out here marketing and sharing with folks? Sometimes I've sat in a lot of different business pitches and these fast-paced meetings. I mean, it is speed dating at its core, and what you share with folks really needs to be engaging and compelling, unique, because they're meeting with 50 other sellers as well who might be selling another adventure tour. But if they don't have that cultural aspect, I guarantee your business will be the one that is remembered. So really amplifying that cultural narrative is important. Being able to answer questions on the spot if folks say, oh, well, maybe they have the perfect client in mind, or maybe their clientele is these seasoned travelers. I have a busload who, you know, 40% of them are going to need ADA accommodations. Is your tour equipped for that? So you need to have, answers on the spot to questions. And that kind of also goes to who are you sending to the events? You want to make sure that your staff are well informed. It does take a certain kind of person to really engage and build relationships with people. And I think that's one thing to keep in mind as well. Like, yes, you're pitching a product, but take time to build that relationship with folks outside of those appointment times. That's really important as well. Booking process details. So the rack rate, the net rate, how are you going to negotiate? What are your strategies around that? That's important to know before going into it. And then I've seen other companies bring their iPad so they can just show a whole slew of pictures of their destination. And that's really beautiful as well. Videos, of course, in this day and age are great. Sharing a reel maybe that you have from your Instagram or Facebook, those immersive types of presentation of your destination are really beautiful ways to encapsulate the interest of folks while you're providing this marketing collateral. And then the last thing, I know we're getting tight on time, so I'm going to bypass the example of you running through your one sheet, Stacia,
Yeah.
because I want to make sure we hit a couple more things here. So we do have this one sheet checklist. For those of you who are on, you can take a screenshot of that, but we'll also, Sherry Bowman, I'm going to get you this in a PDF so you can send it out with the recording of this webinar as well. So folks can dig into all the things that we've chatted about running through Stacia's one sheet here.
Yeah, one of the things I just want to touch upon really quick that weren't able to cover quite yet is the importance of testimonials. If you do have, for example, we just recently had a group of, international students from all over the world come through, and they had 2 weeks here in the United States. After our jet boat tour, I was able to record each and every one of them, asking them who they are, where they come from, their favorite part about that journey that we just experienced. I was able to record them in several different ways for potentially YouTube versus our Facebook and things like that. But really being able to grab those testimonials via your Google review or on site at those tours, people love to be able to see, kind of the real nitty gritty of people talking about what they experienced along the way. So that is another great thing to gather while you can showcase, and your credibility of what you have available within your homelands. Another really important thing, and I think is extremely important, is looking at your press kit. Your press kit is something that you will be able to build upon your website, and as you will continually, and you guys know it who are on with us here today too, we are continually being emailed and called, people coming through your establishment saying, we are a tour operator. Can we work together on really being able to highlight your product or service from a reporter or from a first person lens, right? We absolutely love and welcome all travel writers that come here. We will try to do anything we can for them, including working with our local and regional state DMOs, visit Idaho, visit Lewis and Clark Valley, visit NCITA. We want to make sure that we try to cover everything we possibly can with these tour operators to be able to really create this dynamic first person narrative to be able to offer cultural immersion experiences through the press, right? Journal writers. Also, travel writers and fam tours are extremely important to us. We did host a international tour operator fam tour within the Nimipu homelands. We are now working with almost every single one of them because we invited them here to come and experience what we have to offer for the many different things that we have. So we've actually been featured in many different completely translated tour booking sites sites, publications, and things of that nature. When people come here and experience, I mean, we can talk about it all day, which is beautiful. We can showcase the beautiful content and imagery and have a wonderful website and translated. But sometimes, it really just takes that one person to come here and really talk about it from their narrative, how amazing that was. It increases awareness and visibility. Of course, storytelling is very, very important through a marketing lens, promoting your destination, create firsthand exposure, and then also generating sales. That's why we're doing what we're doing here, aside from our internal identity, is we are really, really looking at generating sales to create economic wealth within our communities and our families. Again, this is how to grow your business in Indigenous tourism. We do have key elements that we would like for you to be able to take away. Everything from brochures, digital content, videos. We really want to showcase what we have each uniquely been given throughout our ancestry, right? We want to make sure that we appeal to international travelers. And again, if you're not already signed up for Go International, I highly recommend you attending and signing up to get over there for that.
Yeah, great. So we will hit on some more of these things as you see down this list, partnering with tour operators, how to collaborate with inbound and outbound tour operators, hosting fam tours. We'll hit on that a little bit at Go International as well. And the rest of these topics are things that we'll cover more in depth at Go International. So thanks for touching on those. I know we are tight on time. If you do have questions, go ahead and pop those into the chat. And I'm just going to run through a couple more things that IENTA is offering at this time for our members and for those who may become members in the future. So for our visitor outreach program and education departments, we have a lot going on. Of course, Go International, this is our warm welcome to you and invite to you to join us at Go International. We'll be posting the agenda officially later this week, so you can have that to pitch to your entities to ensure that you are in attendance so you can grow your business. The ASU Sustainable Tourism Certificate Program, tomorrow is the last day to get your registration in for that. So you can find information on our website, and maybe Sherry Bowman can pop that that link into the chat. A great opportunity to, again, get education around what does sustainable tourism look like in your community. The American Indigenous Tourism Conference, many of which you have attended. That will be in October. And then webinars like this. We're always offering webinars to keep you in the loop of what's going on within the industry and how to grow your business, whether that be, again, from the startup phase to how to work with artists to getting into the international market. We do have travel trade shows, which are great opportunities for experiential learning and getting out there and taking those appointments. Go West was a phenomenal experience this year. That was located in Palm Springs. Next year, I can't remember off the top of my head where that's at, but that's a great opportunity, again, to get those one-on-one appointments within the marketplace to get sales, to get international visitors to your destination. Same with IITA, IPW, Brand USA Travel Week, NTA. These are all travel trade shows that IENTA engages in, and we oftentimes have reduced member pricing for you, or we have some leverage in ensuring that we have centrally localized booths like at IPW. And Stacia did hit on FAM tours, and I can't express enough. If you aren't engaging in FAM tours or you don't know about them, please reach out to our team. We would love to get you looped into how to participate in FAM tours, work with your local DMOs. And you can see the image there. Like, we worked really hard to build a relationship with Forbes magazine, one of the writers there. And now we have had our first article come out in the growth of Indigenous travel and responsible tourism. And there is another article coming out that is very specific to the FAM that we hosted. So getting on FAMs, you can invite folks into your community. They are either going to be selling that product straight to the consumer or amplifying your representation throughout markets that you could never imagine before. So marketing dollars are hard to come by, but hosting somebody and providing them complimentary insights into your destination is absolutely valuable. So consider those opportunities. A couple other resources we have. The Juan Bautista de Anza Trail guidebook is now being launched. It's available online. And so IENTA does work with different trail projects. So be on the lookout if we're working on trails in your area on how you can engage. And our team is phenomenal at doing tribal outreach and relationship building with you on those. We're also developing Destination Native America, a DNA directory. So when we go to these international trade shows or I'm sitting with folks, they want to know who is export ready, who is actually ready for international visitors. Are the startups maybe not ready? They, that takes some time to build up to being export ready. And with this directory, the industry is really interested in saying who's ready, who can I start doing business with today. So if that's you, definitely reach out to our team to get listed in the DNA directory. And that is a member exclusive benefit. So if you're not an IENTA member, that's another reason to become the IENTA, become an IENTA member. Is the DNA directory virtual so that it can be updated, or was there a close date? So it is an ongoing updated document. Thank you for the question, Donna. Um, if that's something you're interested in, we're continuing to work with our partner Brand USA on that and finalizing it to a point where we make it digital again. Right now, we just had a draft preview available, which we subsequently took down while we continue to build out the DNA directory. So still an opportunity to get in there, and we'll continue to build upon that. IPW is a travel trade show coming up in June. We have slots open in our booth. And like I said, we're centrally located at probably one of the world's largest travel trade shows, at least in the US, regarding travel trade. So be sure to come and join us in our booth at IPW, or you can get your own booth and be placed alongside us at Destination Native America Plaza. So those are some opportunities that you can take advantage of there if you are export ready and ready to take appointments and start doing business with the international market. Go international again, save the date, join us. And if you're not listed on nativeamerica.travel, this is a free resource to all, but the member benefits are those listed in the red, and they show up as featured listings on that website as well. So we've had several webinars talking about nativeamerica.travel. You can check that out online. That's our consumer facing website. Our top 10 list is a member exclusive benefit. We have cultural protocols to know before you come to our homelands and another guidebook on Route 66. So these are all just things that we utilize to inform the industry about visiting our native destinations, who to visit, how to visit, where and when to visit. So we are full of information and resources for each of you to advance your business, whether you're a startup business, whether you're a seasoned business in the international industry. We are here to help support you, and we want you to be successful in whatever capacity you're seeking to advance your business. So with that, I've been keeping an eye on the chat. If there was any other questions, where do we find the dates for the events, or can you say them now? So we will have that information up on our visitor outreach website, and we'll be sure to, of course, send those out in the Rupert report. So if you receive the Rupert report, please continue to check that for upcoming opportunities and resources. Thank you all for your time. I know we're a couple minutes over. The links have been put into the chat. Thank you for all the comments. Katsiyayo Kusnim Kasnawat for your time today, Station Morphine. And all of those who are in attendance, thank you. And those who will watch this recording later, please don't hesitate to reach out to our team. Again, we're here and anxious to help you be successful. Katsiyayo, and we will see you on our next webinar. Have a good day.
That's it, y'all. Thank you.